I'm cooking some cauliflower today as part of the 10-day vegan challenge from Chef Terrence Brennan. So we're going to cut cauliflower into some thick pieces and coat it with Vadouvan, French curry, which we're going to talk about later in the video. We're throwing some capers and golden raisins, which are very sort of Corsican, Sardinian, Sicilian flavors with cauliflower. And we're going to make a cauliflower puree. Usually I do it with buttercream and milk, but we're not doing that today. We're doing almond milk. A few other surprises in this dish as well. So let's get ready to cook some vegan cauliflower. All right, let's do a quick ingredient rundown. So thick cut cauliflower into steaks, if you will. Golden raisins, capers, Vadouvan, which is essentially French curry, some arugula, some cilantro. I have pomegranate in the corner and I have limes. So I'm going to start by making cauliflower puree, which is going to go against our seared cauliflower. Two textures. And usually we use milk and cream. Not today. Nope. We're going to use almond milk, and this is a great product. I'm going to cover the cauliflower with almond milk. We cook this on medium heat about 10-15 minutes until the cauliflower is tender. You don't have to cook it too long. I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg to it because I like that in cauliflower puree and some other purees. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to strain that cauliflower and get it into a blender. We'll talk about how we finish it. Now I'm going to blanch the cauliflower for steaks, and I want to do that so we can cut down on the cooking time in the pan. No need to set it in ice water. Just put it in the pan. I cook it all 4 minutes on the blanching time. We're going to make a quick little sauce, like a Vadouvan sauce. And I just want to talk about what this Vadouvan is. It's essentially a masala, but it's like a French curry. France inhabited part of India for a while, and they added dehydrated onion, shallot, and garlic. And all of a sudden, it's a French curry, but it's very similar to Madras curry. If you can't get Vadouvan, use a really good Madras curry. I toasted everything with the raisins and the capers and the Vadouvan. Now I added some olive oil, and I'm shaving in some limes. If you can find kaffir limes, they're so amazing, and they have a complete different flavor profile from a regular lime. I couldn't, so I'm just going to use a regular lime. It works. It does what it... The kaffir lime is very special. All right, so here's the strained cauliflower from the puree. I reduced the almond milk all the way down to almost like a syrup. I'm just going to use a little bit in the blender because I want to have the cauliflower puree have body. And if you don't reduce that, it's probably going to be thin. And I don't use all of it. I really sort of want a thick type of puree for this, is something that's fluffy. Now I'm going to dust a little bit of Vadouvan that I ground down in a grinder through a strainer right onto the steaks. As I mentioned, they have a little moisture, so the Vadouvan will stay on there, but I'm only going to dust one side. I'll sear that side first. I have a carbon steel pan that I like to use for these type of things, but you can use whatever you have. A nonstick pan works well too. And now I'm going to dust the other side of it. And really, we just cook this on a fairly high heat. I use like a blended oil, a little canola olive oil blend. And I want to get color on both sides, as I said, about 4 minutes each side. The color there is not bad. What I'm going to do is add a couple of garlic cloves. I want to baste this. This is going to add flavor, and it's also going to add more color to the cauliflower. That hot oil is just going to keep coloring it. Now I'm going to pull it out of the pan, and we're going to start to set the plate up. So this is the cauliflower puree coming out of the blender. I keep it in a small pot so I can get it on the plate. I'm going to use a little offset spatula to paint a runway. So the puree goes down, and you could use a spoon if you don't have an offset spatula. And the almond milk is actually really nice in this. You don't really miss the butter and the cream, although some people might argue with me on that. But in any event, we're going to get down a little bit so that we can rest our cauliflower steak on top of this. So once we get the runway down, we're going to work on a little salad component. I'm going to take some arugula. I'm going to just squeeze in a little lime, and I'm also going to shave some lime zest in there. And I'm going to add some cilantro. Now, note on the cilantro, I usually use micro cilantro, which is a little more mild and sort of subtle. I'm going to add a drop of olive oil, but I'm going to use this, and some pepper. I'm going to use this cilantro sparingly. I know some people don't like it. You can skip it if you don't like it. I'm going to add some salt. We're going to mix this little salad together, and I'm going to gently, there I am sparingly putting the cilantro in. I'm going to gently put this on top of the cauliflower puree. And then what we're gonna spoon in the pomegranate. I totally forgot about that. The pomegranate I'd never done this before. We're doing it on the fly, and it actually works. So if you have a pomegranate lying around, use it. Now I get the cauliflower steak on top of the salad. I'm going to spoon over the raisin caper mixture that's got more Vadouvan, some lime juice, and a splash of veg stock. Usually I do this with brown butter, but again, we're not doing it today. Now we're going to add a couple of more pomegranates to the top of the cauliflower. And I'm going to spoon some of that sauce around, and it's like a Vadouvan sauce essentially. And then what I'm going to get ready to do is I'll dust a touch more Vadouvan through a fine mesh strainer just to sprinkle the outside of that cauliflower puree and just to make the plate fragrant. And you can't see it because of my camera angles. I'm also going to shave some more lime. This is another great place for that kefir lime if you can get it. We're going to use our regular lime, and we're just going to put a few sprigs of cilantro, and that's the dish. Seared cauliflower steak with Vadouvan, cauliflower puree, caper raisin, experimental pomegranate, arugula, shaved lime, a touch of cilantro. I want to thank you for joining me on my second dish of Chef Terrence Brennan's 10-Day Vegan Challenge. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.